Most people feel more comfortable being in denial about things that they struggle with. They're not comfortable with talking about or admitting what area of weakness they walk in, they live in, they waddle in, or refuse to work hard enough to overcome. And the truth is, we all have these weaknesses, or we all have these areas that we need development in, and we all have opportunities to strive for excellence or to do better in our lives, but we're not all willing to face it, admit it, address it, let alone do something about it. I find for myself personally that I lack discipline in the area of self-control surrounding certain food elements that are not necessarily good for me. I have a sweet tooth and I crave sugar. And one of the things that I need to do is gain power and control over my ability to say no. Now, here's what I notice, that it's a true struggle. It's a true fight. And usually the things that you crave and want the most are the things that are linked directly to your ailment or your weakness or your inability to gain success in a certain area, because that is how the enemy of your prosperity and the enemy of your success and the enemy of your destiny works. It works against your ability to gain control over the very vice that is used to take you down. Now, the very thing you love, the very thing I love, sweets, are the things that are linked to detriment for me. Me being a person that lives with sarcoidosis, for example, I understand very clearly that sugar is somewhat of a fuel injector or fertilizer for an autoimmune disorder such as sarcoidosis. It's just not good for even a healthy person to overindulge or to consume high levels of sugar, but it's doubly dangerous for someone with an autoimmune disorder or other illness that they're struggling with or living with or trying to overcome or going to remission out of. It makes it difficult for them to achieve those goals in the presence of excessive sugar. Okay? So, some of the things that I think that you can do to combat that is to fill the times, pay attention to the times that you crave it the most. When do you want it? And during those hours, begin to fill those hours with different projects or different time management practices so that you don't fall prey to those hours where you get the weakest. Interesting. I'm working late tonight. And so I said to myself, I need a cup of tea because I'd like to have some warm tea. It's relaxing and I enjoy it. Whatever. Who needs an excuse to drink tea? Anyway, I take my tea without sugar. I take my coffee without sugar. Coffee is something that I'm working on eliminating during the day. I tend to drink more coffee. It is a false sense of energy, and it's just not good for me. It creates problems for me. So I'm eliminating coffee and drinking more tea. Herbal tea, that is. And so, again, I don't take the sugar in it because I know better. One of the best ways to begin to eliminate sugar is to eliminate where you add it. There's sugar hidden in things. Just sugar, obviously, in desserts and in candies. But it's also hidden in other things as other food groups break down and become sugar in your body. So one of the best ways to eliminate it is to begin the practice of not putting it into things. Don't put it into your sugar. I'm sorry, we're talking about sugar. Don't put sugar in sugar. No, don't put sugar into your cereal. Don't put sugar into your food groups or into your drinks. Have your iced tea without sugar. Don't add sugar to whatever it is that you're eating or drinking. That's one of the first ways. And then begin to eliminate some of your sugary drinks so that you can say, well, if I am going to have sugar, I can control a great portion of it by not putting it into my food or my drinks, and by eliminating drinks that are loaded with sugar, particularly if you know you're going to have a starch that breaks down to sugar, a bread that breaks down to sugar, or you're going to have dessert, which is sugar-based. Begin with the process of elimination so that your body can get used to not craving those sugars. It is said that it takes 12 days to eliminate cravings. So if you can stop doing soft drinks and sugary juices for 12 days, you can beat the craving. So that's the goal. So when I talked about identifying the times that you crave the most, and the reason why I'm doing this video right now is because as I went to go to get my tea, I said to myself, I could use, maybe a little slither of pound cake with this tea. It would be just perfect right now. I'm not hungry. I don't need it. I'm not crashing or anything like that. So why? It's just habit. And it's the mere fact that it's bedtime and I'm pushing the meter to continue working to complete a project. And in doing that, I'm frantically making decisions that are not good for me. So, one, if you're going to be up late, make sure that you don't have things around that will trigger, oh yeah, let me get myself some cake or some ice cream or some pie. And that you remember not to add sugar to your beverages. And if you can't control it in that way, try to go to bed before the idea of hunger strikes or the boredom sets in, or you're just fighting sleep and you're making decisions that just don't make sense. Go to bed, go read a book, do what you got to do, exercise, do things to replace the desire and the craving for that sugar so that you can begin to get control and handle over it. Thank you for listening. I'm Sonya Ward, and it's always a pleasure.